Hey everyone, it's Julie and Marc here from RVLove, and we are here with our live call series of many of the contributors to our new book, Living the RV Life, Your Ultimate Guide to Life on the Road. This is a series of free live calls with Q&A that we've been running with those that joined us on the live Zoom calls, and we've decided to share these with you all here on YouTube. This is a very different format to what you're used to seeing here on our channel. Much longer, non-edited, but a really great opportunity for you to just drop in on the conversation and listen to what happened during our live call, answering a whole bunch of questions from people that were dialing in live on the call. So go and grab yourself a beverage and settle in for this call with Tom and Cait of Morton's on the Move. Stick around. Before we jump into our live call with Tom and Cait, you probably know them from their YouTube channel, Morton's on the Move, or you may have seen them on our collaborative YouTube channel, Road Gear Reviews. They've been great friends for a few years now. We met them at a campground in North Carolina, so it's great to see how and where they are today. Tom has just come off from directing the RV Nomads, the movie, and Cait pulled off the amazing sold-out Nomad Fest. So this is a hot couple to watch. Tom and Cait, Morton's on the Move. Let's get into the call. Well, hello everybody, and welcome to our live call tonight with Tom and Cait of Morton's on the Move here.
Hi. Hello everyone.
We're so excited to have you guys here, and thanks so much for agreeing to be on the call with us tonight because, you know, as everyone knows watching this call, we're RVLove and we get to meet so many amazing people out there on the road. And we were so excited to have met Tom and Cait. And I want to start the call with this because I think it's really fun. This is a very informal chat tonight, very casual. Hope you've got a nice drink there with you to enjoy. It's Friday night after all. And just bring whatever questions you've got. This is very relaxed, very casual. We're just hanging out with friends. Just want to start with one thing. I found this photo that popped up in my Facebook timeline just this week. And I hope you can all see it here on the screen. You can recognize this is a photo of Marc and I and Tom and Cait 3 years and 3 days ago in North Carolina. We met actually at a campground, a Thousand Trails campground in Advance, North Carolina. And I'm going to read you this text. It says, a great night in getting to know new friends, Tom and Cait, Morton's on the Move. They hit the road as full-time RVers 2 months ago in their fifth wheel and were staying opposite us at Thousand Trails Forest Lake in Advance, North Carolina. Yet another inspiring story of people stepping off the treadmill of life and following their dreams. Love it. You can follow them at mortonsonthemove.com. Can you think of a better way to introduce you guys on this call? Because did you think 3 years ago when we met, when you were scraping that logo off the front of your rig, completely green and new as RVers, and we hung out, had wine, did you ever think that 3 years later we'd be friends, have been in a movie that you guys, Tom directed, Cait just came off the back of pulling off amazing sold-out Nomad Fest, and now you're featured in our book, Living the RV Life, which we are very excited about. So who would have thought?
It's really surreal.
It is,
for sure.
It is crazy. And not only did we just meet you guys 2 months into the road, we'd been really off grid at families' houses and such for the first 2 months.
Not
and
really talking to other RVers.
That was the first campground that we stayed at. And you guys were not only the first full-timers that we met, but the very first people we actually met on the road that were RVers at all. It was not.
Sorry, it just froze up a little bit there. I don't know. Did we freeze for you?
Yeah, we did. I'm gonna switch something on our internet real quick. See if I can get it working a little better.
This is just hashtag RV Life. Is always doing connectivity challenges, and
and like we said just earlier, we were testing everything, making sure that this is gonna work just fine, and we sat down to start up the call, and we just saw like the internet speed test, just like. And we're like, it's like dropping by the second. What's happening?
It should be fun. It's mostly really smooth. It was just like right in the middle of sentence. Cut out.
You know, only when we have something profound to share, it'll cut out. So whenever it cuts out, just imagine we're saying really profound, inspiring stuff.
So whenever it's quiet, it was just so, the profundity was so high that it just blocked out.
Exactly.
I think what is so fun though about that post popping up this week and just being reminded of that time and how new you were. And I know a lot of people on the call, we've got a whole range of people that are new, people that haven't hit the road yet, people that are in the process of hitting the road and learning and doing what they need to do to get ready for that. And a lot of experienced RVers too that are on the road. And of course, we're going to be sharing this video later, so we're going to have a really broad range of people watching it. But one of the things that always really impressed us about you guys was how really thoughtful you were about the whole process. And we meet a lot of people who hit the road and, I guess maybe it's a personal thing and a personality type. Some people just go, let's go and do it. And I think Josh and Kaylee from the Freedom Theory, our friends that we all collaborate with on the Road Your Reviews channel, are also good friends. I think they did it in like 30 days. That was crazy. But you guys, how long did you take because we've always been very impressed with the process that you took and how you set yourselves up for success on the road, and how you really just wanted to create your own business and found a way to let's kick off by doing that a bit.
The decision-making process was actually very short for us. I think we made it in the span of a 2-hour drive home from the Detroit airport to our house. And that was when we decided. And then we were like, okay, wait, let's now do some research and make sure we're not, screwing ourselves up for financial ruin in the future by just like selling everything, quitting our jobs and all that stuff. So we took probably a good couple of months of researching and planning. And we were originally planning to leave in about 6 months after that point. But some unforeseen things happened, and we realized that at the end of the summer that we were going to be leaving, we realized that we needed more time to get more things in order. It wasn't ideal to put our house on the market in the fall in Michigan because people don't really shop for houses in the winter so much. Like, well, let's wait till next spring, and that way we'll do more planning, we'll be more ready, and we'll have a better idea of what we're wanting to do by that time when we want to put our house for sale on the market. And then it took like 3 more months for it to actually sell. So we hit the road 1.5 years after that initial decision of this is what we want to do, let's go make it happen. Mm-hmm. A lot of planning went into that 1.5 years.
I think that is that planning and that research that you did is how you're so successful today, just personally in how you live your life and your work-life balance. And I think most people on the call here probably know that we're all involved in the RV Nomads movie, and there probably wasn't a lot of work-life balance for any of us working on that project this year because it was a lot of hard work, but it's been really rewarding to see that that's gone live this week now. We premiered it last month at Nomad Fest, which everyone loved, and now it's live streaming. Been reading all of the comments too, and it's been really, really positive. And Tom, you did just an awesome job directing that film.
I mean, I can't believe we're actually here to the point where it's live.
Yeah, it was a heck of a ride, but I guess to your point of just planning everything out. I mean, that is how we do live our lives, and everything that we try to do is we try to be thoughtful about it. And so I guess that a lot of people I think do see this RV lifestyle as throwing caution to the wind and just going out there and just going wherever. I think, ourselves, we're just one example. A lot of people are very thoughtful and make these choices to live this way very intentionally. Yeah. And that's a lot of what we wanted to focus on in the movie. And as you kind of showcased in the book as well, how it is extremely intentional to make this choice and live this way. And that's one thing I love about the book as well, is that it does showcase this is an intentional, meaningful decision for so many people.
I think one of the very first things that I started a spreadsheet, and I pretty much
spreadsheets.
I live in spreadsheets.
I just know.
Yeah. And so before probably the end of, I don't know, it was maybe like 2 days had gone by, and we had a full budget out of what it would cost us for the year, estimations on what we would be spending for truck maintenance and RV maintenance, and just like, so that we could really wrap our heads around, is this financially feasible with what we have right now? And that was really important to us because we're both very careful, very frugal people by nature, and we really didn't want to mess up that badly.
I definitely don't think you've messed up, you guys.
Well, you know, speaking of when you guys were talking about your process, and Michael Sutton asked the question, when the Mortons were executing their planning, what sources did you guys extract your useful material from?
When we decided to go full time, that was in February of 2014.
Yeah.
So that was like more than 4 years, almost 5 years ago now. And when we got online, we actually didn't find a whole lot of really useful information. It was pretty much, you know, Technomadia, Wheeling It, the Winds.
Yep.
I think those were the three that we sourced our information from at the time about the full-time lifestyle.
Yes.
But a lot of the decisions that we made were really of our own accord. I think we did research a bit about RVs, but we didn't do our due diligence like you really, like most people. And we did end up in the wrong RV for ourselves up front. We resourced our friends who knew something about camping and towing RVs and spoke with them. They weren't full-timers or whatnot. They thought we were nuts for doing this, but they were like, yeah, we go camping in ours. I would never live in it. You know? So, but we did utilize them for resources. And from there, a lot of the decisions were just kind of winging it, I guess.
Yeah, well,
but
I will say that the resources that were out there, the ones that I mentioned, the Winds, Technomadia, Wheeling It,
they were very helpful.
They were very helpful, and
very
they
helpful.
Really
they gave us confidence, if nothing else.
Yeah. When we made the decision, it wasn't because we had seen other people doing it. You know, I feel like now there's so much of it out there, and it's very accessible. It's on Instagram, it's on Facebook, and if you're even slightly interested in traveling or anything like that, you might have heard of full-time RVing. But we made the decision like, oh, I wonder if we could do that. We'd like to do that. And then we got online and we went, oh, there's other people. And there wasn't too many at that time.
You're going to jump in for a minute and ask everyone on the call where you're all from. So we want this call to be really open and engaging for you guys to ask questions. Let us know where you are and tell us what the weather's like, because I've seen a few people already comment here. We've got cold here in Florida at 58. New Brunswick in Canada. Ron's in a snowstorm. And the guy still has a spreadsheet with all the budget data. That's hilarious. But let us, everyone, if you've got access to be able to type into the chat there, we'd love to hear where you're from. And I don't know. How cold is it there? We're here in Colorado right now. What is the temperature today?
Today was actually pretty nice. It was high 50s today here.
Oh, there you go. Almost like Florida.
It was Florida. But I think our nighttime low is going to be a little bit lower than in Florida. And tomorrow night we're seeing lows in the teens. So I don't think we'll see that in Florida.
So let's see what people have got in here. We've got I'd like to see where everyone is and where they're all from. Delaware, Ohio.
Got a fellow Michigander, Kip from Alpena.
Ah.
Oh, yeah.
Massachusetts, snow today. I heard there was a bad snowstorm in Ohio, too. Brian and Julia in East Santa Cruz. Oh. Overnight in the high 30s, Montreal. Wow, people are really all around the country and in Canada as well. Lake Medina, using our furnace in the evening. New Jersey. Oh, Joanna Shani are on there too. Dawn's outside of Pensacola. Northeast Oregon. Okay. Oh, they're Brett. So
and Brett.
Names and faces.
Hi, Brett.
Stupid cold.
Stupid cold.
Well,
stupid cold.
Palm Springs, baby, loving it. Ground zero for friendship with RVLove. That's exactly. That's where we met Brett and Danelle for the first time, was in Palm Springs at the campground in Thousand Trails. That was fun.
Yes, and you guys are going to be seeing and hearing more from Brett and Danelle coming up, because we actually parked ourselves on their property in Oregon, and Tom and Cait have stayed there as well last year, I believe, right, on their property in Oregon. It's beautiful. They're amazing.
Yeah, last summer.
And what we love about how they do their RVing is they actually rent their house. They renovated their house and rented out as an Airbnb and a little bungalow, and they created a pad for their RV to be able to park, and they've even got space for a friend or two. So we hung out there for the summer, and that's all we did a lot of work on our CC, which we're going to be sharing with you guys soon too. But let's, oh shucks, he says, it's kind of a big deal. So guys, ask us some questions. Put your questions down in the comments here, because this time is for you guys to engage with Tom and Cait and us. I mean, I know a lot of you have been following these guys for a while, and they're awesome content on YouTube, and you know, following us. A lot of you have seen the movie, been to Nomad Fest. There must be lots more questions out there, or are you trying to say that we've already answered them all in all the content we've already done, in which case we're all out of business, guys.
So George asks if we will be in Tampa this January.
We will be.
Yep, Julie and I will be.
Tom and Cait.
We will not be in January, or in Tampa in January. Actually, we already made our trip to Florida for the year. We would like to be down there because it's probably going to be cold elsewhere, but we're going to be heading out west this winter. So.
Yep, we are currently in Fairhope, Alabama area, where Kyle and Olivia are working on their Airstream renovation project. Kyle and Olivia of Driving and Vibing, if you guys don't know who I'm talking about. And we stopped here back in March on our way out of Florida to get to Wellington for RV Nomads production, and we helped them lift the shell off of their Airstream, and so that they could get some work done on the axles and the frame. So then we're back here now. They've got the shell back on, and we're actually helping them do more of the interior stuff. So it's really cool to see the progression of that project from when we stopped by in March, and now we're here again to hopefully help them wrap up a lot of that stuff.
Yeah. Someone said, poor Kyle, he looks so tired. They are pretty, I don't think he's physically tired, but as he said to us, he has decision fatigue, because you have to make so many decisions, as anyone who's renovated an RV will know. And I think
they're ready for this to be wrapped up. They want to hit the road again. I think they're missing the road a bit. But after Alabama here, we're heading to the Southwest for this winter.
Speaking of flashbacks, we started the call with a flashback. Remember this photo?
Yep, that is exactly the time frame we just referenced.
That's it.
Lifting the shell off of their Argosy.
I think that's been a really big job. Just been done.
It really has.
A lot bigger than they realized when they first started it.
I like that new term though, decision fatigue.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like clutter tolerance. It's another new term that we've learned from the Mortons. Decision fatigue.
We got some questions rolling in now. Don Ramel, who has been an amazing supporter and champion for us all this year with the whole RV Nomads project. Thank you, Don. So your question, what do you guys do to unwind after so much activity this year?
Well, one of the things we did was we took off down to Florida. We left the RV here, and we just drove down there and stayed with Tom's folks and went to the beach.
We took an actual vacation, which I think, as we said in our earlier video this week, that we haven't felt that we needed a vacation from RV life in 3 years at all. But this year we were stationary a lot, and we did need a bit of a vacation. So we went and we took off. We didn't work for a week. Well, mostly didn't work. It's always hard to get away from. But and we went to the beach every day. We went surfing. We went fishing, and just enjoyed ourselves. So that was really refreshing.
Well, I think that's one thing that a lot of people think or assume when you live in an RV and you're traveling all of the time, is that you're on a permanent vacation. And I think if you're retired or not having to work, that might be the case. You know, what we find is that we really like to have a trip away from the RV to really recharge. But, you know, occasionally we'll, like if the RV's in getting some work done to it, we might be in a hotel for a couple of days, or we went on a cruise a year ago, and we actually we love our RV. We love our RV life, but we actually really love the opportunity to get away from it every now and then too, especially because we're creating content from it. So it's just, do you guys find that now that you've had this Florida vacation, is that something you think you might do more of? Have some non-RV getaways to recharge?
I don't know. We don't have any more planned right now. We're pretty RV bound.
This one was almost done on a whim, though. It was we decided literally a week before we went to Florida that we need a break and we're going to Florida. So if it happens again, it'll probably be on a whim. But
yeah, but we haven't taken one since we went on a cruise as well. Shortly after we met you guys in North Carolina, and that was more of, hey, we happen to be in Florida and we can get one of these last minute deals. Let's hop on that. It wasn't so much that we needed a vacation; it was just a really good opportunity to to get a cheap cruise.
So where did you go, and like what did it cost you, and how long were you going? What kind of a deal did you get? Because I think it's real. This is what we did when we went to Alaska last year, and it's great for other people to also understand that you can use your RV to go and drive and park near an airport or a cruise port and take advantage of those deals, as long as you can find somewhere to park there.
I think, if my memory serves me correctly, I think we did a 5-day cruise for like $700 for the two of us.
Oh, okay.
So, and it was all inclusive. It was meals, it was drinks, it was
drinks too.
Everything. Yeah.
And
that was in the Caribbean. I went to the Bahamas. It was on Norwegian. And it was one of their smaller ships, and I'm not even sure if they run that anymore. It was kind of like a test of their like all-inclusive package where like you could have all the drinks and food that you wanted for this one low price. And I haven't looked into if they're still doing it, but we were really excited about it because, you know, there are those really good deals. If you can be really flexible on your dates, you can really hop on something like that.
And that's what we were. We were just like, we're going to be in Florida. There's not going to be any airfare to it. And it was something that we'd always thought that we might want to do. So it allowed to be that flexibility and find that really good deal.
Yeah. Well, and that's kind of like the theme of all of the RV traveling in our experience, is just being conveniently in a place at a convenient time or happening upon something that you weren't exactly planning for, and just kind of being able to be a little bit more spontaneous about, you know, hopping on unique opportunities like that.
Mm-hmm.
Let me read a couple more questions. We got a few messages coming in. Julie Gant said, yes, thanks so much for all the help you're giving to poor Kyle and Olivia, because Kyle looks so tired.
Well, and plus, not only Airstream, they do a lot of content as well. They're
extremely hard workers. Like when we're around them, like we're inspired to work harder. Like that's how, you know, they just go.
We're not going to visit them if that's the case. We're not going to visit Cole. We don't want to work any harder.
Well, and they're very intentional about their videos, and they're so good at it that it really it makes us want to up our game, and you know it gives us different ideas. So we really enjoy that aspect of it as well, not only just helping them out on their project, but being a part of that really positive energy, because they both are very positive people. And that kind of flows into us, and it's been a lot of fun so far, and we're going to be here for probably about another month, and so you guys will get to see us on their channel too. I'm sure
it'll be great.
And speaking of positive, that was an interesting segue here, because Michael Sutton's next question was, the Mortons appear to have a very sincere spiritual approach, not religious, to life. What energizes your exceptionally positive embracing of your RV life?
It's a lovely question, Michael, isn't it?
That is a lovely question, and thank you. I don't know if I have a good answer for that. Yes, we just try to look on the positive side of things. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think a lot of the negative to RV life is like mechanical troubles and things like that. And actually mechanical troubles almost energizes me, because it's like, it's something to solve, it's something to fix. That's what I enjoy. So for me, that's, you know, it's actually the mechanics of the lifestyle is something that just, it is a positive to me. So
yeah. Well, and I think just to give you a little bit of perspective, like it was a little bit before we met Marc and Julie for the first time 3 years ago in North Carolina. We were touring around in West Virginia. And again, this was within 2 months of us hitting the road. And we had this moment of like, oh my gosh, even if we had to go back right now, like we've had such an incredible time in just this 1.5 months that, you know, if we had to go back now, it would have been worth it. Like all of it would have been worth it. And I think we've just kind of carried that mindset with us that like, if we had to stop RVing tomorrow, it would all have been worth it. And we have a very grateful, we are just very grateful that we've had this opportunity to travel and do the things that we have been able to do.
Yeah, definitely.
So we try to see the positive in everything.
That's a great attitude to have in the RV life. It goes a long way, we find as well. Julie Gant has another question. If any of us are going to be at the annual bash or the New Year's Eve gathering, Julie and I won't.
I think that's the one in Arizona. Exact. I think the annual bash is the Escapers event you're talking about, Julie, if I'm right, in Lake Havasu, I believe, this year. And New Year's Eve gathering, that might be in Quartzsite. I'm not sure. We haven't paid too much attention to the Southwest events because we are going to Florida for the winter for the first time since late 2015, early 2016. So, and you guys, will you be there?
We might be. We haven't bought our tickets yet. I don't know if they're still on sale. I think they might still be on sale to December 15th, but that might have been November 15th. There were a lot of things happening on the 15th of months, these few months. So if they are still for sale, we are planning to go. And as long as we can get tickets, we will most likely be there.
Let's go. Cool. There's some cool BLM land too if you end up around Lake Havasu. I think you guys have already stayed there, right?
Yeah. After Quartzsite 2 years ago, we headed up and spent time in BLM in Lake Havasu, and we really do love that area. We love being able to get down to the lake. We have some friends in the area too, so
it will be really interesting to see the bash. I mean, we haven't been there for 2 years, but how they're doing it in Lake Havasu now versus being in Quartzsite, I think it's going to be a very different feel and very interesting to see how everything comes together.
I think that Escapers Bash we were at was the first or second one they'd done, and it was very small compared to what they're doing now. So it will be interesting to see how they've grown.
We're in the process of prepping a house for sale in the spring, looking at our Class A surrounded by snow today, looking for a 4-down tow vehicle in Cherokee Trailhawk, one of our top contenders. You know, we've heard they're pretty good. Marc and Julie, has the Trailhawk been a good choice for you? And anyone else have input for a good 4 wheels down towed for our diesel pusher?
We've been super happy with our Jeep Cherokee Trailhawk, and
2015.
And I've had a lot of people that talk about Jeeps and how they're not very reliable. I'm personally not a super big fan of Wranglers because they just don't drive really nice. But what we love about our Jeep Cherokee, the Trailhawk, is that it has really good off-road capability and still drives really nice on the highway.
Mm-hmm. It's quite luxurious.
It is quite luxurious. We love the car. The only thing with my only thing that I would say on the negative about the car is when you're driving it, doesn't have very good engine braking because the transmission, it's a 9-speed transmission that they geared towards trying to have maximum fuel economy, and so it doesn't, even when you downshift on grades, it doesn't do a lot of engine braking with it. But other than that, I've just been super happy with it. I mean, Julie and I were driving separate recently, and I think you were averaging 28 miles to the gallon with the V6. I mean, it's a powerful car to get amazing gas mileage, and and it's super great off-road. Love that car. It's easy to tow 4 down. Putting it in neutral takes longer than hooking it up to the tow bar. Yeah. But it's still, we're super happy with it.
Anyone else he would ask if anyone else has input for a good 4 wheels down towed for a diesel pusher. Well, just for a minute there, a second contender, if we didn't get the Jeep Cherokee Trailhawk, the other...
we were excited about a Subaru Crosstrek, yeah, but you got to be careful with those because you have to have the manual transmission, and they don't, mostly are CVTs, so you'd have to just be mindful of that. And we do have some friends that have that. It's a little bit light on horsepower, which Julie and I like a little extra horsepower in our cars, but the Subaru Crosstrek, I think, is a cool, lighter weight car. But he's got a diesel pusher. You can tow something heavier if he wants. So.
Now this and here's a familiar name, Joanne and Shani, and these guys are in our RV Success School. They're asking Tom and Cait, just wondering how much time you devote to your hitch business, Morton Trailer Supply.
Not as much as we used to.
Yeah, with everything that's been going on, we haven't really devoted a lot of time to it. I mean, gosh, recently it's probably only been about like 10 hours a month or so that we really put into it, if that. Handling orders and such, we do, we spend as much time as is needed to do that, but actually trying to grow the business or anything, we haven't done a lot of that. Initially, we spent quite a bit of time on it though, but recently, it's not been a lot.
You guys are Florida. Where are you domiciled?
They're Michigan still.
You're still Michigan, that's right.
No, we are Florida now.
Floridians.
Yeah.
We updated in January of this year. So
We're-
almost a year of being Florida residents.
Certain things we're dual residents because we still have an address and a chunk of property in Michigan, but our official domicile is Florida.
Right. That's right. And you've got that property down there now on the island that
Yep, we have a little lot down in Nettles Island, and when we're not there, it's available for rent. This winter, I think it's all rented out already. We get a lot of questions about that, but
it's a sweet little spot. It's about it's less than a mile to the beach, and it's a small little piece of property, but it's lovely.
Don Ramil comments, this is the second night in a row, and it sounds like wine is involved with visits with other nomads based on what Julie's been saying.
Well, I've not had wine tonight or last night. Don, this is just my natural self. Next time we get to catch up in Florida, we'll have a couple of wines.
But a lot of our in-person ones do involve wine, it seems.
In-person meetings do. These calls haven't. When are you guys coming back to Northeast Oregon? I don't know who you're talking to, Brett. I assume Tom and Cait, because we've been in contact. You guys got plans to head back to Northeast Oregon?
We will probably be through the area next year, but I don't know exactly what our plans are.
We have some big plans for 2019, and we're not quite ready to share them. We're hoping to share them soon with everybody, but it will have us, I will say, on the western side of the country.
Tip's asking questions about lithium battery. Seems Battleborn has the corner on the just drop-in. Would love to hear Tom's take on this since he's had a more intentional install, much more involved.
Yeah, Tom's got a really unusual system. For those that may not know, Tom, tell them what you got.
Well, we wanted to go with lithium in our RV, but Battleborn, when I started doing research on it, Battleborn was really, they've grown a lot recently and gained a lot of traction in the industry, especially for the drop-in solution. But because there wasn't a good drop-in option, we ended up taking a single Tesla pack from a Tesla Model S and putting it in our RV as our battery pack. It was
definitely not a drop-in solution.
Not a drop-in solution at all. There's a lot that you have to do to utilize lithium without any other protections or anything. But as for drop-in solutions, I think that we'll see a lot more options soon. But Battleborn is definitely, they're one of the first by far, and that definitely has given them an edge in that they have worked really hard on getting their battery management systems and the batteries put together and stable. That's been the biggest issue with a lot of drop-in batteries. And a lot of them aren't even drop-in. They still require an additional system that you have to plug into it, like the Victrons and things like that. As a drop-in solution, I do think that Battleborn is probably one of the better options right now. I think they definitely make a really good battery.
Oh, that's great. Thanks for sharing that insight, Tom. George Morrow he also mentioned that he needs to buy a tow assembly for his Sprinter build and would want to buy one from you if you have something like that. And I don't know if he's talking about towing with the Sprinter or towing the Sprinter, but because I've seen both. I've seen Sprinters towing stuff, and I've seen people who tow Sprinter vans to be able to have like a mobile wood shop that they tow behind their big diesels. So I don't know what you guys have to offer on that side. Your email again.
mortonsonthemove@gmail.com. I said that's the email that you can reach out to us at.
There
Thanks. Vic says, I'm liking this Zoom meetup. I guess I'm going to have to figure out how to activate my laptop camera. That would be great because we love seeing your faces, actually. Those are do a scroll through for a minute so we can see everyone. Some people have photos. Some people don't have any. Just up here. And I can see Tony and Catherine there. I can see Michael and Louise. There's Joe, the computer guy. Joe, so it's a really big fan. Brett, Joanne and Sean. And then others don't. They must be calling in. But it is really great.
Hi, everyone.
One of the reasons we're using this platform, and we were talking about, potentially doing this, as a Facebook Live or YouTube Live, but then we'd all have to be together in the same place, and we're not. And that's why we like this technology, is because when you're talking, you're up on the screen. When we're talking, we are, if anyone else is. And so it doesn't, it doesn't work the same, obviously, as Facebook Live, but it is a way to be able to have this kind of video that we could post up on Facebook, you know, or post on YouTube.
Yeah, it's just great to be able to have that. And because like last night too, because we had a lot of people that actually ended up contributing and speaking on that call. And so it was great to have the cameras hit multiple people because other technologies don't allow that as well. Tom and Cait from Joe, the computer guy, are you staying at the Escapees Park near Fairhope? I stayed there and the cell service was not so good there when I was there twice now.
You called it. That is exactly where we are.
Yeah, and we actually had our booster connected to a different tower that was further away today, and we were seeing speeds of 20 plus meg, but I'm guessing
it's like a hair line off with the directional booster. Like if it's just a degree off, then we lose the tower. So any little bit of wind, or maybe if we like move the RV, it might bump it a little bit.
So sorry about the poor connectivity.
Oh, good. It's mostly been really good.
Yeah.
Don's commenting, Tom and Cait are faux Floridians, like most people from the Midwest. That comes from him as the Floridians whose family's been in Florida since the mid-19th century.
Wow.
That's a long time.
Wow.
Not 1900s, 19th century. That's a long time.
That is a long time. But Don now is just recently hit the road full time as an RVer, but he's back in Florida, so we'll have to get more info from you on that this winter, Don. George is going to get in touch with you. My university just switched to Zoom for our conferencing. Everyone loves it. We are global. Well, that's great, Valerie. That's you know, it works really well. This is the same technology that we've been using for a year and a half with our for those that don't know, we have an online school, RV Success School, and Tom and Cait are one of the success stories in it, actually. But we do these live calls every month, and this is the platform that we use for it, and it's been working really well for us. So that's why we decided to use that for these calls, because we know it's reliable, it works well. So what about some more questions, guys? You want to put some more questions down in the chat while we keep chatting here to Tom and Cait. So you guys, you're in Alabama, you're going to be there for a month, helping Kyle and Olivia finish the Airstream. Is the plan to actually get them completely finished so they can hit the road, or is it to get them finished with the more interior build construction stuff so they can then do all the decor and painting and all of that? Like what level are you going to help them get it to? Because that's a big job.
We're going to get it as far as we can. I don't want to box them into I don't want to speak for them and box them into any deliverables that they're not
we
prepared to deliver.
I think we'll be here as long as we can. We have some obligations in December that I think will take us away, but we'll help them out with what we can and get as far down the road as we can. But
things have been moving pretty quickly so far, which has been really exciting. We got the inner walls and the ceiling all up, and we got the fans, the vents installed.
Just got a picture from Kyle with the interior lighting all lit up, so it's coming along pretty quickly. I think I think the big thing that they'd like our help with is the mechanics, the plumbing, the electrical, things like that.
Actually getting some Battleborn batteries installed.
Nice. Well, they're pretty awesome. Speaking of installations, you guys also recently switched out regular toilet for a composting toilet. John Jedlow is asking how you like your airhead.
I was wondering when this was going to come up, but we're about 40 minutes into the call.
40 minutes. I mean, we went over 30 minutes before we had toilet conversation, so there you go.
I should have expected that from you, John. Thanks for the question. We did install a composting toilet, an airhead toilet, and we love it. I mean, there are definitely some things about it that are drastically different than a normal RV toilet that we had to get used to, but overall we're very, very happy with it, and we love not having to dump our black tank.
Yeah, it's been really good. We've had visitors come stay with us twice, and while it's a drastic difference from a conventional household toilet, everyone was able to figure it out, and it worked well for them as well. So overall it has saved us an enormous amount of water. I didn't realize how much water that the regular toilet used, but we can extend our time off grid by probably 6-7 days easily with the amount of water that we conserve not using the toilet.
What's the maximum time that you've been able to boondock in your rig? without having to dump your tanks?
How about 3 to 4 weeks, depending on how we, did things. We have a pretty large freshwater tank. It's about 100 gallons, and pretty large gray water tank too, 75. And so, we were able to go pretty long as it was, but now not having to dump the black tank, which we used to have a 50-gallon tank. Now we don't have a black tank at all because we removed it. Now we can go over a month.
Yeah, we were about a month and a half this summer without issues. Yeah.
Sorry, Cait.
Oh, I was just gonna ask you guys if you were going to do a composting toilet.
I don't think so, because we still do a fair bit of boondocking, but we still predominantly stay in campgrounds. And if you're predominantly in campgrounds, to me, it's still more. It's easier to have traditional tanks. And
we've got still pretty big tanks in this RV. We actually, the longest that we've boondocked in this rig is 7 weeks, but that wasn't without dumping our tanks. We used a macerator to empty the tanks, and we only did that twice. Is that right? Twice in 7 weeks. But that was for the black tank. We did have a way of being able to siphon out the grey tank where we were camping, so that was fine. But we can actually go a pretty long time, and usually I don't know that. I think the longest we've stayed in one location, like completely off grid, without any ability to empty our tanks like that without breaking camp, was in Quartzsite last January when we were there with you guys, and that was 2 weeks, and that was really pushing, wasn't it? That was about the longest I think we could do. But I think after 2 weeks, we're really ready to get back into a campground. We like having longer showers, or I really like.
Yeah, and showers. One of us really likes a lot of social interaction, so there's an appeal with that.
George asked, do you plumb the urine into the grey tank?
No, you can actually. It depends on what you want to do. We didn't in our case.
Or haven't yet.
We might do that. That's the biggest drawback to a composting toilet, is having to deal with the urine bucket regularly. So that's an option. We haven't gone there yet.
But yeah, that is probably one of the biggest adjustments, was having to dump the liquids bucket pretty much every single day. So you have to do that every day, which, we've just gotten used to that. I know you can get a second bucket to, make that easier. But sometimes you have to wait to go empty the bucket before you can use the bathroom, because you don't want to overflow, because that would be pretty disastrous.
So a question from Bob and Dennis. It seems that full timing has exploded over the past few years. Have any of you experienced a big change in any type of RV resources? Like, for example, difficulty finding paid campsites, boondocking sites being full, or RV mechanics, etc. And I think, we know that there's a big RV mechanics shortage nationwide, and we've been hearing a lot about that. It's harder to do.
We had that experience a year ago. So October last year, we were in Portland, Oregon, and we needed to get a repair done on our RV. There were a few things we needed to get done, but one was, none of them were immobilizing us, but trying to get it into a shop was, for the first time, really difficult. And I don't know if it's just because of the increase in the number of people out on the road and the drain on the service shops, or if it was the area. We were in Portland, Oregon at the time, but I was calling RV repair shops everywhere from Portland to Colorado and on the way to see what we could get in them. It was a long wait. It was at least 4 to 6 weeks to get into most shops. Oftentimes in the past, especially when we've had a repair that kind of immobilized us, which fortunately doesn't happen very often, some shops have been able to get us in when they know you're full time and it's an urgent repair, but we weren't able to get in anywhere, and we ended up resorting to a mobile mechanic that came out to us. So I think that's going to be an increasingly popular option, because they come to you. It seemed like we had a good experience until he left, and then we realized that he didn't really fix the problem.
Oh no.
you know, we were kind of overcharged, like the number of hours, and we're like, but you got here at this time, and so why you went off for an hour for lunch, and why are you charging us this? So he tried it on a bit, and that was definitely, you really have to keep an eye on.
Yeah, to keep an eye on. But as far as campgrounds too, I don't know that that's a whole lot more busy. So I mean, especially if you're in swing seasons, maybe when you're in peak seasons, it might be more challenging getting campgrounds than it used to be. But swing seasons, we seem to be doing just fine. So
yeah, and I think I just wanted to add to that too, with our challenge getting our RV repaired at that time. It was fall, so that is the time when a lot of people have finished their summer camping and they're getting their rigs winterized or getting things repaired before they go into storage for the winter. So I do think the time of year could have been a reason for that, because they did say, well, this is our busiest time of year, spring and summer. Spring and fall, I beg your pardon.
Yeah,
spring and fall.
De-winterizing and winterizing.
Correct.
Yeah.
I would say we haven't done a whole lot of RV repair stuff, although when our hydraulics needed to be repaired last year, we were talking with a shop up in Indiana who wouldn't have been able to get us in for 2 or 3 months to get our hydraulics, which are like the front of our RV, the legs. And so it's like, well, we can't go 2-3 months without our hydraulics, or else it has to stay attached to the truck for that entire time.
It is a very unique repair, however, and he's pretty much the only one in the country that does that repair. So that's why we had to figure out how to do it ourselves. But I would say that I've seen a huge increase in a lot of people asking me if I can help install solar and such. And I think that's starting to become more challenging for some of these additional things. But I would say that we've actually seen some positives with the boom in the full time as well, because the resources that weren't there when we started, the compendiums and the our village and all these things that have increased
more robust. Absolutely,
it's grown more robust.
Like
the information is out there, like your book. I mean, the growth of this is enabling these things, and that in a way makes it easier for us.
Yeah. And like those sites, Boondocking, I feel like the more people that are out there, the more that they're sharing more sites that they find. And so, we're having a surge, and people are worried about, there not being enough sites for everyone. But at the same time, more people are finding more sites and sharing that information. And Harvest Host is getting more and more agritourism places signed up with them, and Boondockers Welcome is expanding. So I think with the increase, you're also finding more places for people to stay.
That's a great point. It's a really great point.
And last night on the call too with the RV Geeks, they were talking about the number of new campgrounds that are starting to open up now, and we've seen that a lot on our travels. As new developments starting to come soon. So that's happening. Yeah, and more people are starting to camp off the grid. I mean, for the first few years we were mostly campgrounds, and now we're starting to move toward doing more boondocking. I think there's a lot of awareness now with so many of us out there doing it. That it's giving a lot more people a lot more comfort. I remember the first time we went boondocking, we actually did a podcast this morning with RV Family Travel Atlas, and it was on boondocking and tips, and just talking about how, there's just so much more of an interest now, and so much more accessibility to information to help give people the confidence that they can do it. Because the first time we did, we were so nervous. We did so much planning for our first trip, and I think that's again why it was successful. But it's definitely great to be able to have that ability to mix things up.
Yeah, and going back to campgrounds, we had a question from George. And when we're in campgrounds with full hookups, do we tie into the city water or work off of our onboard tank? And so when most of the time we do hook up to the city water when we're in a full hookup site. Oh, yeah. But today or this week, we're in a campground that doesn't have full hookup, so we're just running off the tanks. But we do sometimes, if we're going a lot in campgrounds, we still will every once in a while fill up the water tank and run off the tank once in a while, just to get the water flowing through and keep the pump exercised. But in general, when we're in a full hookup site, we do tie into city water.
What about you guys?
Well, when our fresh tank is full, we can stay off for a very long period of time. But when we do have a hookup, like the site that we're in right now, we take advantage of it. We like taking long showers too. Washing the dishes without worrying about filling up the gray tank. We especially love it because we last spring we got a Truma AquaGo instant water heater, and we just love to just take really long hot showers, some of us more than others. And with that on-demand water heater, it just keeps coming hot water. And so when we have full hookups, we definitely take advantage of it.
I think, Tom, you sound a bit more like me. You've got a high level of clutter tolerance and you like long hot showers. Marc and Cait are more like.
Yeah, I do like long hot showers. When we are hooked up to full hookups, however, we a lot of times, especially right now, we're on a site where we're paying for our electricity. We actually still utilize our solar system most of the time to save our on our power bill and such. So we design our RVs so that we can switch between both systems or utilize the hybrid functionality of our system and maximize our solar use almost all the time, even when we're hooked up full hookup.
Yeah, that's great. Whenever you're paying for the electricity at a campground, that's a really great ability to be able to do that for sure. Joe, the computer guy, asking if when we're going to the Tampa show, are we staying at the fairgrounds or any other Florida plans? And FYI, he got his TT membership based, his 1,000 Trails membership based on our videos, and working great for him. So glad to hear that. That's
well, we love 1,000 Trails because of the people that we meet, actually. I mean, it saves us money. It saves us a lot of money. But look, these guys, we would not have met you if we'd been at that 1,000 Trails in North Carolina. But are we staying at the fairgrounds for the show? We are staying at the show. I don't know exactly where. I have to check. I don't know. But we are staying there for a few days. And most of our plans in Florida, we're getting into Tampa right at the beginning of December. So we're actually leaving Colorado just 2 days after Thanksgiving on the 24th. So that morning, we're doing a bunch of meetups with people as we travel. Like with the book coming out next Tuesday, the 20th, we're doing a whole lot of meetups along the way to Florida. And so we will be finishing up. Well, we'll be finishing up the tail end of that leg in Tampa at the beginning of December, and then be in Orlando through to about Christmas. We're going to be hanging out in Florida until probably at least early April, potentially mid-April. But a lot of time, I think we're going to be in Orlando area a lot of time. We do like staying in the 1,000 Trails and Encore Parks as part of that Trails collection because it saves us so much money. In Florida, it tends to be more expensive for campgrounds if you can even find them at that time of year. So that just works really well for us. We will be going down to the Keys for a week. We've got a wedding for some more RVing friends that we met in a campground in Colorado Springs. They're full-timers getting married. Yeah,
that sounds so great.
That'll be the second wedding in 6 months that we've attended of people that hit the road as a girlfriend, boyfriend, became engaged, and are now getting married. I mean, Eric and Kayla from liveandlight.net, we just attended their wedding in New York just last month, and that was a wonderful, beautiful wedding. And Val and Mitch from, what's the name of their channel?
RV Lucky or what?
Thank you.
Yeah.
RV Lucky or what? How cute is that? So those guys, sorry, I had a mental blank for a minute, Val.
Love that name.
Yeah, they're getting married down in Key West. So we just thought they were like too old to still get invited to weddings, but it turns out we're not.
But Don asks, how do we manage getting requests for people to meet up with us? And that's of us and of Tom and Cait. So you want to go with that?
Well, we asked Marc and Julie to meet up with us by sending them an Instagram message. So 3 years ago, we were like, oh my gosh, there are people over there with decals on their rig. And we looked them up and we zapped you a Instagram message. We're like, hey, but then we actually ended up just you guys walked by while we were scraping off our logo. And I think that got to you faster because as I imagine, you probably get a lot of messages of, people wanting to meet up or asking questions or something like that.
Well, I think it took me a while to work out how to get to a DM message in Instagram. That's more the truth. Because I didn't start our Instagram account our RVLove Instagram account until we'd been on the road a year. I was using my personal one before that. So it was pretty new, and I'd get these messages with the notifications pop up on my phone, and then I never know where to find it. I go looking for it. Was it Instagram? Was it Facebook? Was it Twitter? Was it YouTube? And it's sometimes I lose messages, but that is a good way to.
I still lose messages.
If you send us a message and you don't hear back, we are not being intentionally rude. Sometimes I can't find it. It goes into the black hole of technology and social media. It just completely does my head in. But Marc doesn't do any of that. That's why he's a bit more the sane one. But I would say that is a good way to go about it, as Cait said, is to send the message first. We very rarely have people just knocking on our door out of the blue. That happens very rarely. I know of others. I know Techno Maddie has said that happens quite a lot to them. They've got a very recognizable motorhome with their vintage GM, but ours, we don't have that very much. Mostly people are very nice and respectful and send an email or a social media message. And we just love the serendipity of meeting people walking around in our replay too, like we did with you guys. I kind of like that natural way of meeting up. But I think it's more to the point to Don's question too, is I think that's going to happen more. I think now that as people are watching the movie and now the book's out, and we're all in both of those projects. They've both been big projects I've been involved in this year, so we're expecting that may increase. But what we're going to be doing is being more active and intentional about organising meetups as we travel. So we haven't done that as much, and especially this year because our schedule has just been so hectic. But next year we really, in 2019 onward, we want to really at least once a month, if not twice a month, organise meetups in certain areas as we travel. And that's a great way for us to meet a lot of people at once and for them to all meet each other, because that's how a lot of friendships start among other people. So we like to be able to be a conduit for that as well.
And I'm just being mindful of the time. We've already been an hour.
Right.
So, we have 22 messages in here, but a lot of them will probably go through quicker. But if you guys mind staying on just a little bit longer, we can get a couple more questions answered.
Yeah, we can stay on for a while longer as long as, that.
No problem.
So if anyone else has to drop off, we totally understand. You can always catch the second part on the replay. But those of you that want to hang around, that would be great if you do.
All right, so a question from Vic. Tom, you need to write a book on turnkey installing a solar system. I could sure use a comprehensive, detailed guide. And then ditto from the next comment that Vic said regarding solar. Brian would love that as
too.
well.
Oh, then Don Ramel, Tom, have you considered solar installations as another avenue for income? Lots of, there you go, Tom. Over to you.
You got some interest in that.
Yeah. We have considered writing a book. It's something that might be happening. There's a lot in that realm that I'm interested in getting involved with here, but we just haven't had the mental capacity to do that over the past year yet. So we'll see where things go. I have also considered doing some solar installations, but again,
consultations.
I do some solar consultations actually. I have been doing that, but actually doing installs has been a bit of a challenge just because we've been so busy, and are on a
location is a
location's a big thing. We are usually en route or have some plans to be somewhere, so it's kind of challenging for us to do that.
But if you are interested in a solar consultation from Tom, feel free to send an email to mortonsonthemove@gmail.com. He is brilliant. I know I'm his biggest fan. He's brilliant, and he does a lot of amazing stuff. I don't understand any of the stuff that he does. So it's magic to me. So if you want some help with that, definitely shoot us an email. That'd be great.
Tom is one of the smartest guys we've ever met.
And he's humble as well. Yes.
I am so lucky. It was a funny story. My one of my dad's good friends, who happened to be an electrical engineer, was talking to me when I was, maybe a teenager, and he was like, Caitlin, if you want to have a good life, you should marry an electrical engineer. And
that's hilarious.
And then it actually happened, and I didn't know the wisdom of his words until it actually happened. And Tom has made my life so easy. Like, something breaks, it just magically gets fixed. if something, Mark too.
Electrical engineer, but he's the same with
I
our
do
RV.
fix a lot of things, but there's a lot of things I can't fix, including one with our electrical system right now. So we may have to talk offline. But let's jump into the next question. Richard said, we're full-timers in a Tiffin with 2 gas furnaces, and we're in Tennessee with nighttime temps in the 30s and 40s. How long can we expect a 24-gallon propane to last when we only use it for heat, using induction cooktop for when they are hooked up to electric? And we can answer that pretty effectively because we did have a Tiffin with 2 gas furnaces and with that same 24-gallon propane tank. Now, there is going to be some gray area, of course, because it depends on how warm you keep your coach. But we've been able to go a whole month with that 24-gallon tank in far colder temperatures than that when we were in Colorado last year. But we also set that thermostat to only hold it at 50 at night. And then during the day, when the wet temperatures are higher, we try to make really good use of using electric space heaters and also the heat pumps, because I imagine if your Tiffin's relatively new like ours, it would have also had heat pumps that when you're up 40 or 50 degrees at the daytime, you can run that heat pump to kick your main temperature up using the electricity to save the propane. So hopefully that answers the question. Bob and Dennis, I'm not sure what he's commenting on. That is really cool. We're looking forward to all the people we meet and practicing their full-time life. We have already made a few friends and so many friendly people. It really does seem to be a great community of people wherever you go. And I absolutely agree with that. It's a really amazing community.
Absolutely agree. Yeah, that's probably one of the biggest things that has been so rewarding in traveling for us is meeting all these wonderful people. And we seem to find a lot of people that have a lot of values and things in common with us, and we didn't necessarily have that big of a community or that many people with similar values and things like that where we used to live. So it has been really overwhelming. We've met really amazing people that do amazing things all over the country, and so now it's like we have to keep perpetually traveling so that we keep making sure that we see everybody and stay in touch.
Vic has a question for us. It seems that everyone's muted and he wanted us to chime in vocally. He's perfectly okay with the way things are, but he thought he'd ask. And to answer that, we generally prefer to these to have the questions in the chat because it's so much easier to manage this way, because when we open up the gates with a lot of people having vocal, it can really bog down the system and it gets really difficult to keep the consistent voice. So.
And we can get through more questions faster with this method.
Joe, the computer guy, he's at TT Orlando, Thousand Trails Orlando right now and bouncing back and forth all winter. We'll be at the same at the Tampa show. Hope to cross paths. Yeah, it would be great. Tried to meet up with Tom and Cait last year, but poor Tom was quite ill. He was
very sick. Very sick.
Sorry about that, guys.
Yeah, we didn't get nearly as much as we wanted to done initially, because I would go in the morning then film and make sure to come back and make sure that Tom was still alive.
It was pretty bad.
He was so sick. We were so worried.
I got one day of the show, and that was cool.
Yeah.
One day. At least you got out a little bit.
And I felt so bad for him too, because the Tampa show was so much fun. And there's so much to see there. If you get a chance, I would highly recommend going. Just a lot to see. You'll meet a lot of people and you'll see a lot of really cool stuff.
And you'll get a lot of exercise.
Yes,
it's a lot of walking.
But when we were at the RVIA show in Louisville a year ago, that's the industry show. I have a steps app on my iPhone, and I couldn't believe how many steps I put into that place. It was unreal.
That was a lot.
Yeah.
George Morrow comments, I think video collaborations between you YouTubers is a very positive effort, and also commenting that every time something positive about Tom is said, that the feed freezes. But yeah, the collaborative things are really wonderful. We really like to be able to work with other YouTubers, especially friends like the Mortons, and it really helps share and get different perspectives onto others' channels too. That it's not only the one person's voice. So we do like. And
we just like working with people that we have fun with. I think that's really important. You really have to enjoy who you're working with and having fun with. And when we launch, it's almost 2 years since we launched Road Gear Reviews with the Mortons, RVLove, Driving and Vibing, and the Freedom Theory. So we're still going. It's almost 2 years, and that's been fun too.
Yeah. Michael Sutton asking, how do the Mortons deal with condensation during the winter heating months?
Well, in the mornings we go around with this towel and we wipe it off along the windows.
I think that's just an issue that anyone in an RV is gonna have. Luckily, we do have dual pane windows in our entire RV, and that alone is enormous in reducing condensation. We don't get condensation on the windows rarely, unless it's dumping rain and insanely humid. But if it's below freezing, and again, really only when it's raining do we get condensation. This morning was very, very cold, but we didn't have any condensation. But the past few days have been raining and near freezing. And we did get condensation on the metal, and we would just wipe it off every morning. In extreme cases, we will sometimes run the air conditioner and a heater at the same time if we're on 50 amp hookup, because it heats the air and the air conditioner draws the moisture out, and that'll dry up the rig really fast. But being off grid, that can be a big challenge sometimes.
Yeah.
Do you guys have a generator?
We have a small Honda portable.
Yep, we have a Honda generator. That was what we started off with. So we didn't originally have a solar system. That was new as of last winter. And before that, we would do all of our boondocking using the generator and our existing lead acid batteries.
Yeah, and you guys do the same, right? You have a diesel generator, though.
Yeah, we have a huge diesel generator, and which is great about it, the big diesel generators is they're so efficient, they don't burn a whole lot more fuel than those small gasoline ones. When we're loving the idea that, compared to our old generator that burned a gallon of it an hour, this one is only about a 22 tenths of a gallon per hour. So
wow.
So it's a huge fuel savings for us. And not that we need it a lot, but it's great that if we want power, we have a lot of power and without a lot of expense. So that's really cool. Don Ramel commented that we mentioned serendipity. The Morton's jack failure led them to meet you in Alabama, and that they are the ones that told you.
Oh,
you guys, the Mortons were the ones that told them about the movie and Nomad Fest, and as you know, that meeting changed their lives. We're so grateful to Tom and Cait and the world that they opened up.
Yep, Don and his wife were here, and I think it was Easter Sunday, and we all went to Big Daddy's Grill here near Fairhope, and Kyle was performing, and like a whole bunch of their family was there, and quite a few of the Vibe Tribe was there, and we started chatting with Don and telling him what we were about to go do, because back then it was we were on our way to Wellington to start production for the movie. And yeah, that was a long time ago, and the rest is history, as they say.
Was that when we actually were broken down in the parking lot?
Yep. I believe so.
Yeah, we were parked in such a way so that the nose of our RV could go all the way to the ground on a hill, so that we were somewhat level, because the jacks wouldn't hold our RV up at all anymore. So we were stuck there, and we did get to meet him because of the jacks.
Yep. If the jacks hadn't failed, we would have left probably like 4 or 5 days sooner.
A week sooner.
Yeah.
What do you do?
Michael Sutton has a follow-up question related to the condensation, is asking if you've ever used chemical baths, the baths that absorb water, or the charcoal bags. For Julie and I, we've used those little absorbent things
in the bathroom mostly.
Yeah, mostly in the bathroom, but I don't.
The damp rid.
Damp rid, yeah.
We've got those ones from Costco where they actually quite a big bag, and then it's got like a coat hanger on the top, and we would hook that in the back of the plumbing area of the bathroom.
Mm-hmm. Our basement area is all one large area, and we actually keep one of those in our basement area all the time in our RV. And we just, when it gets full, we change it out, because it helps keep, it does help keep must from forming in those areas.
And when we left the RV here to go to Florida for a week, we left one in here because we figured it was going to get pretty humid in here as well. And when we got back, like the bag of the damp rid stuff was absolutely full with water. So it did a lot.
That's from 1 week.
Yeah. Well, it was about 9 or 10 days, but yeah, it was full.
Yeah, humid Alabama. Yes. But I don't think that even those will do a great job of keeping up with the moisture from our own breath. And it's just that we, living in them, we do put a lot of moisture into the air.
And they don't really smell that great. So I don't know if you'd want to like be inhaling that damp rid, nice smell that they give them, that fragrance.
I think we've reached the end of the questions, guys, or is it quarter after the hour now? If there's not any other burning questions going on, we can start to wrap this up, I think. This has been...
Well, I wanted to ask you guys a question. I wanted to get it in earlier, but there were so many other questions that I wanted to get to. But I wanted to ask you guys, like, how, and kind of tie it back to the book itself, what was that feeling like when you had the publisher reach out to you and ask you about making this book, and like what did that feel like, and what was that process like? Because you guys did an extraordinary amount of work for it. Like, what was it at the very beginning, now that you're kind of close to the end, you know, looking back on it? What was that like?
I remember the exact moment, actually, because we were in courtside at the Escapers event, and this was January, and we bought our Jeep in the October, 3 months before, and we still hadn't put up a video about the Jeep yet. So we were in the Jeep driving to somewhere that was quiet, that we could film the video and announce that we got the Jeep. And as Marc was driving, I pulled up my iPhone and was checking emails, and there was an email from this lady at this publishing company, Adams Media. They're a division of Simon & Schuster, and basically highlighting that, hey, you know, this is who we are, and we're looking for somebody who can, you know, write a book that's going to basically cover the A to Z of the RV lifestyle. And we've done our research. RVing is a hot trend right now, and there isn't a book in the space that really covers everything in the way that we envisage, that combines, you know, an aspirational kind of a thing that helps people understand it, you know, people that know nothing about it, and takes them through with this step-by-step process. And so I was excited, because I'm like, this is a big deal, because publishers don't just reach out to people. I mean, you know, there are very, very wonderful writers and authors who pitch their work to publishers all the time and get rejection. You hear stories of people getting hundreds of rejections letters. So it was really, it was very humbling, actually. I was really excited. I know that, because I'd always wanted to write a book. Marc, funnily enough, has never wanted to write a book.
And it's extra funny because I wrote the rough draft of the book.
He did.
So.
In 1 week. He wrote the whole rough draft of the book. And then, but Marc's really good like that. He's a producer.
But you wouldn't want to read my book. You need to read the book that Julie can finesse from what I
would never have got it done in time on the deadline with that. It was really a team effort. But I think, you know, that feeling was, I mean, just really excitement, just total excitement, and completely honored. And of course, it wasn't like they just emailed and said, hey, will you do it? It's like, are you interested? Can we have a conversation? And, you know, then of course I responded very excitedly with all the reasons why we thought we'd be great for it. And that was, I think, within 3 weeks. We'd had back and forth. We did like a sample contents chapter. We had to write a bio and a sample introduction and a sample chapter, all really, really fast. And they were presenting them to their publishing boards. But we put everything on hold, including my birthday, which was in late January. I'm not even going to look at Facebook. I'm not taking any phone calls. I'm delaying my birthday until this is behind us, because we didn't have time. It sounds crazy, but yeah, they came back and they ended an offer to us, and then gave us a month to pull it off, which was crazy, but we did it.
And you guys didn't have anything going on that month, did you? It was completely free. You had nothing else to do.
Yeah, we had to put off all of our regular content creation and everything, and put everything on hold. And then we were actually in the middle of purchasing our coach during the middle of part of the writing in the book part, not during that initial part. But
in March.
It's amazing. I mean, it's been a huge year, but it's so exciting to be here at this point now. And the book's actually hitting shelves in just a couple of days and available on Amazon, and it's amazing to be here.
Yeah, we're really excited. The publisher's really excited, which is awesome, because, you know, even though we thought it was a good manuscript when we submitted it, and when we got you guys were with us when we were in production in Wellington for the movie, like we got a round of it. It's in April, May, and June. And so we had, you know, every time we got that, it's a whole week of work to do it, to go through that manuscript again. But by the end of it, we're just like, this is a really good book. We felt that within ourselves, like just genuinely felt that. And then the publisher was excited about it. But I think now that the advanced copies are getting out there, and we're getting, you know, feedback from our peers that we respect so much, like, you know, you guys and Technomatty and the RV Geeks and those guys. And once all the readers get it and start writing their reviews, that's going to be when I think it's really sinking in that yeah, that's the truth, isn't that's when the proof is in the pudding, is when the reader likes the book. But now we got a couple of questions here. Michael, or somebody put a link. Did somebody? Michael, oh, you put a link.
Michael was answering a question from someone else asking about what the purifying bags and stuff.
Yeah.
And so he's putting that
in. And he asked, did you receive an advance for the book? Yes, we did. And that is also a rare thing. Not only is it hard to get a publishing deal, a lot of publishers don't offer advances anymore. And for those that may not understand how that works, we've learned a lot about the publishing industry this year. And we just always figured we'd self-publish, but when this publisher came to us and made us an offer, an advance is an advance on the royalties. So as an author, you get royalties on the book, but the advance is basically giving you an advance on the money that you will earn when they sell it. So probably the first, I don't know how many books we have to sell in order to, repay that advance that they gave to us. But it's money that helps tide you over, and so you can eat and put gas in the RV to get you through it. Michael says congrats. Thank you, Michael. But yeah, it's that was definitely helpful to have that. And yeah, I think we don't even see any royalties from it until not before next March. So from when we wrote the book and submitted the manuscript in March to when we would first get, the earliest we'd ever see any royalties would be March, a whole year. So it's a long game. Like writing a book is not like, and that doesn't make people rich overnight. It's not about that. It's about being able to share what we've learned over all this time and really distill everything from that blog post and YouTube and the school and everything into one place that just makes it easy for somebody to get started and learn and hit the road.
And Joe, the computer guy, makes one comment. Okay, please tell Kyle and Olivia's hi, and then that he's available to help them if they still need help in February, March. But we should wrap up, babe. It's 6:20.
We'll definitely do that, Joe.
We'll definitely do that. Wow.
Hopefully they won't need too much more help in February and March, but we will definitely let them know that you are available to help wrap things up if they're still cranking away.
I hope they're on the road soon. They must be getting itchy feet, those guys.
Very itchy feet.
The 2 times they left Alabama, they went to Wellington, Texas.
Yeah.
It was exciting and fun because the production, was an exciting experience, and Nomad Fest was an amazing event. But Wellington itself is not the most exciting place in the country.
No.
Well, it is when there's a ton of awesome people there to experience it with. So
that's the thing. It was about the people and not the place, right? I mean, but the town was awesome. Everyone was so welcoming to us. All of the locals, they just made us so welcome. They're so excited that, there's another Nomad Fest in 2019. So no, the town was fantastic.
So Kip really enjoyed your story, Julie, about the books, and thanks to us and to the Mortons. It's been a blessing, and then a whole lot of other comments from folks just saying thank you so much for the call. So
thank you, everyone.
To everyone who joined the call and submitted your questions. It makes it enjoyment.
And
thank you.
Thank you, Tom and Cait, for coming and being with us. 3 years.
Well, thank you for having us. This is great. We love how that first meeting has just formed such a wonderful, long-lasting friendship and partnership, and so many other things. Road gear reviews and videos and the movie, the book. I mean, it's never ever could have imagined that we would be here 3 years ago.
No.
And we are so honored to be a part of this book. Thank you so much for asking us. And, we will definitely, be doing everything we can to help you promote this book. I'm almost done reading it cover to cover, and it is absolutely fabulous. Great job. You guys really deserve this.
It is. And I think it's so inspiring too. You guys are so inspiring to us after meeting you guys as the first RVers on the road, and to see you be able to share that inspiration on such a wide scale is just awesome. So we're so excited for you guys. We love the book, and thank you for putting it together.
Thank you, guys. We appreciate you. And thank you, everyone who joined us on the call today. I saw a lot of familiar faces that were also on the call last night. If you missed the Geeks call, I saw George missed it. Don't worry, George. We will be sharing a replay link to all of the calls. And for anyone that is wanting to join us on Sunday at 3 o'clock Central, not 6 like these other calls, but this one is at 3, it is Nathan and Marissa from Less Junk, More Journey. And we had a great little chat to them this afternoon. They're excited about coming and joining everyone too. And, you know, they're, of course, in the book as well, in the chapter on community, which they've done an amazing job building. You know, as 2 introverts, they've done a really amazing job building an incredible community on the road, not to mention all of their amazing videos, which are just beautiful. But we're excited to have them on too. Hopefully all of you, if you're free, you can come and join us on the Monday the 26th. We'll have Chris and Cherie from Technomadia. And again, that's going to be a different kind of a chat. You know, Technomadia does so many presentations and talks on technology, but there is so much more to them and their stories and their experience. They are veteran RVers that are the first ones that we even learned that this could be possible through their ebook, the Mobile Internet Handbook. And once we hadn't even started RV shopping. So that we're going to have a different kind of a chat with those guys. It's not so much technology focused, but it's about just getting to know you guys and the people and open up to all kinds of questions and conversations. So this has been awesome. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
Appreciate you and all that you do and all that you contribute to the RVing community and your amazing content.
Has been so much fun.
Yeah, it has. So, all right. Well, with that, everyone, we're going to let you go off and enjoy your Friday night. Go and have a glass of wine. We'll catch you all next time.
Good night, everyone.
Oh, and
Bye.
Bye, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed this chat with Tom and Cait, hanging out with us and everyone answering these questions on the call. As you can tell, they're a really awesome couple. Go and check out their channel, Morton's on the Move, and of course, check out all the other videos from the rest of the amazing people in our live call series, some of the most popular and respected RVers out there today. So they're all featured in our book, Living the RV Life, Your Ultimate Guide to Life on the Road. It is now out, so if you haven't got yourself a copy yet, go grab one. You can grab the link down below in the description, our Amazon link, or find one at good bookstores all around, Barnes & Noble, Costco, independent bookstores. You can find them everywhere.
Here, there, everywhere. Well, thanks again for watching. Until next time, we'll see you on the road.